Hello there fellow NPCs, I am Scythe and today we're getting back into Everlasting Summer. In the last video we finally finished the Uliana path with both a good and a bad ending in one video. Now we're going to start the Slavya path, and here's the thing, we already did a bit of work up till that point. So we're going to continue from where we actually started to deviate from her when we were playing Uliana, the Uliana path. So yeah, we're going to collect the cards and with Slavya, of course, and also to make sure that we lose against her. So that's where we're at. So with that said, let's go. And as I said, I'm going to get the cards with Slavya, so I'll see you at the next point. And apparently I was a bit mistaken. You do not play against Slavya. It's been so long because you just skipped past this part that I forgot that we don't play against Slavya. We're just going to have to lose against Alyssa. So that is what we will be doing. I lost to Vachevskaya, and that's the most unfortunate one. One can only guess what she will get up to tomorrow. She could embarrass me at the lineup, if I don't oversleep of course. She could complain to Olga Dmitrievna. She could just start rumors around the camp. The worst thing here is that everyone believe her, not me. I wasn't even sure why, but I was 100% sure about it. I left the canteen. I was still too early to sleep and a short walk looked like a good idea. Where should I head to? And we will actually be going to the bus stops, which is over here. So this is brand new actually. The events of the past day kept flashing brightly in my head. That damned useless checklist, this stupid tournament. Right now, I don't want to do a single thing or to talk to anyone. I don't even want to start thinking about my current situation. I came to the square and took a seat on the bench while staring at the Genda statue. I don't know how long I was sitting like this, but finally cricket chirping brought me back to reality. I got up and blindly walked in a random direction. The bus stop. Somehow, for the second day in a row I find myself at this place. Maybe subconsciously I feel the bus will be waiting for me here to take me back to the real world. Very unlikely. On the other hand, why not? It got dark already. I was just standing there and gazing at the night sky. Astronomy has never attracted me so much as astronautics. It always has been more interesting to look at the picture of far constellations, nebulae and galaxies made by artists than to try and figure out how to measure angular velocities and masses of stars. But certainly, I would be able to find the Great Bear constellation. But if I get lost in the snow forest, my only way to find a way out would be that little knowledge about moss growing on the north side of a tree. However, I still don't think that would help me to get out. I was about to head back to the camp when all of a sudden I caught a noise behind the gates. Who is it this time? Near the clubhouse it seemed like somebody was walking down the path to the forest. It was so dark that I could see nothing but a blurred shadow. I wondered who could be out so late at night. A pioneer breaching discipline? I followed the mysterious shadow rapidly but still carefully. I was moving from path to path, and after a while I found myself in the depths of the forest, finally losing sight of the stranger. Maybe I should turn back. The trees parted before me, and a magnificent view of a small forest lake struck my eyes. Oh, so this happens already. I remember this scene. If you have played this game, you know what scene is coming up, but I thought it would be far later. Or maybe what I'm thinking about is far later. Because I thought it would be around the when you go to the fire campsite, when everyone is wandering into the forest. And then I noticed Slavya. She was skipping and fluttering about, letting her neckerchief loose and her shirt fly up in the air. The whole scene seemed even more fantastic than my own presence in this camp. Slavya looked like a spirit of the forest, or perhaps a nymph. She looked so natural, more like an ancient goddess than a human being. I remembered all the theological theories, which I read some time ago. This reminded me of pantheism, the idea that God is in all that is, everything that we see around. What if it were not the aliens, or a time warp, but divine providence that brought me here. Indeed, Slavya mentioned she loves nature. So it turns out that even she is an enigma, isn't she? But then all her remaining clothes slipped to the ground. Oh, it is here! And... yeah, it is here. Slavya went into the water, naked. I was ashamed, but I just couldn't take my eyes off her. Silvery moonlight reflected over her wet skin, making Slavya look like an ancient Greek statue. The Venus de Milo, maybe. This scene was so fabulous that there was no room for carnal lust, only sublime admiration of true beauty. I was simply admiring the perfection of Slavya's form and forgetting everything else. Maybe this isn't hell but heaven. A branch treacherously snapped under my foot. Slavya turned around, but there was no way to recognize me in the darkness of the night. Or at least so it seemed. She rapidly rushed out of the lake, put on her clothes in a hurry and vanished from sight into the forest. I quietly went after her. Slavya was quietly trailing among the trees, choosing the easiest path and gracefully avoiding the trees, pits and snags. It was a hard job to keep pace with her. Moreover, I definitely didn't want to be caught. Firstly, peeping is just no good. And secondly, in fact, it still remains to be seen what she was doing here. Although it somehow seemed to be innocent enough, it didn't seem to have anything to do with my presence in the world. It was just innocent. It was nothing worth spying on. At last we came out of the square. Slavya stopped and turned around to face me. Did you think I didn't notice you? I was a bit confused, but I put a mask of visible calmness. How long ago? I'm not sure. Slavya came closer. 5 minutes ago, maybe? So, even there at the lake? What lake are you talking about? Well, Slavya seemed to be sincerely surprised, so I simply couldn't figure out whether she was pretending that nothing had happened or... well, never mind. I made up my mind to behave like a gentleman, as gentlemanly as was possible in these circumstances, and said nothing. Alright. Unexpectedly easy, she agreed. What a beautiful night. Slavya took a seat on a bench and looked up at the sky. I guess such nights are common here. Well, probably. Why so uncertain? I don't know, I just got lost in thought. Thinking about what? She stared at me like she was looking for something on my face, but then went back to stargazing. Now and then I fall into such a mood at night. During the day I'm wrapped up into work with no time to relax, but at night it's so quiet here. If it wasn't for the crickets and the nightbirds, one would feel like being face to face with the universe. For some reason I didn't think of Slavya as someone who would talk about such matters. As for me, it seemed too quiet here. Is it? Yes, really. Anything wrong with that? Well... alright. She stood up quickly and fixed her skirt. It's time to go to bed. Good night. I watched her walking away. Our talk might have been about nothing, but seems to me it had some deep and secret meaning which could appear only here, only next to Slavya. Seems like, even in my situation, such moments of peace and serenity are absolutely necessary. They make me feel united with the universe. I'd even say vital, especially now. I'm not sure how much time I spent sitting there, but after a little while I started to feel sleepy. For the first time today, I finally felt how tired I was. There was no light in the window, so Olga Dmitrievna must have been sleeping already. I think this is where I can continue to skip, so we'll see. And we're back. We have now, it's day 3, and we are going to help out here at Camp Sovyunok. So we're going to help Slavya with whatever she needed help for. I don't remember. Always choose the lesser of two evils, they say. Well, of 3 in this case. Slavya wasn't evil at all, so my choice was obvious. Any rational being keeps his house clean, but I usually perceive house cleaning as somewhat akin to gym workouts. Yeah, it's good for you, but not my sort of thing at all. However, I like the ideas of painting benches or of helping two future geniuses at Russian or Soviet science even less. That's a strange sentence. There were about a dozen pioneers at the square. Where did they all come from, I wonder? I approached Slavya. Hi there. Oh, hi. You come to help? Well, not on my own free will, of course. I thought it over again. I see. Take this broom. Your area is right next to the monument. Frankly speaking, there was nothing to sweep here. It seemed pretty clean to me, though some rubbish was still laying around. After sweeping for a while, I came back to Slavya, who was sitting on a bench and taking a break. What a nice day, eh? Yeah, though it's a bit too hot. She shaded her eyes with her hand and looked up at the sky. You're like a tireless worker of communist labor. Oh, come on. I just like to help others. That's good. And what about you? What about me? Well, it seems to me that you find community service a bit of a burden. Well, probably. Why is that? I don't really know. Seriously, she can't expect me to just unload all my ideas concerning this point on her. She might drown in them, God forbid. Maybe you just don't like company. That's actually quite possible. There was some truth in Slavya's words. I suppose that she was good at reading other people's minds. Or at least at reading mine. Though, how can that be possible if even I find it hard to understand myself at times? What are you going to do when this session is over? What do you mean? In USSR, a person finishing the high school typically had to choose between either getting a college degree, typically achieving a status of engineering or scientist, which seems to be what he was doing in the Lena run, or going into secondary vocational school, thus mastering a profession. Well, are you going to enter college, or do you want to master a profession? I've already achieved Grand Master at all of my professions, watching anime and surfing the internet. I don't know yet. What about you? We have a small farm back home, so I want to help my parents there. It sounded pretty strange. And are there any private farms in the USSR, where all the farming has to be collective? But I decided not to go into details. Okay, so she's a farm girl. And what are your parents doing? My parents were not a good subject for discussion. It is not that my parents are not good, quite the opposites. They are kind-hearted people. But it's not the right time for such a discussion. My father works at the local council and my mother is a teacher. That wasn't actually true. More like a half-truth. Cool. She really seemed to consider that a cool thing. I guess so. The conversation had reached a dead end, so I was trying to take my eyes off Slavya and kept gazing under my feet, up into the sky or just looking around. You know, I'm pretty sure you'll also be fine. Slavya looked at me thoughtfully. Now what was that for? And what was that also about? Thanks? I mumbled. But what do you mean? I suppose that you happen to be too pessimistic at times. Isn't that way too, straightforward? Maybe. But you're gonna be alright. Maybe. After this conversation I felt ill at ease. On the one hand, there was nothing special in her words. In general, almost any person in Slavya's shoes would come to a similar conclusion. Nevertheless, I felt, and not for the first time, like she could just see right through me. So, let's get to cleaning. Aha! She smiled and took the broom. I never thought that cleaning could bring such a deep pleasure. No, it wasn't just because of this conversation. On the contrary, I was glad to hear that from her. For the first time ever, somebody was discussing my life without criticizing me, without grieving any stupid advice based on their own personal experience, without intending to go through my head and without making some far-reaching conclusions. Dude, isn't that exactly what you've been doing throughout this entire game? Making wild accusations and hypotheses about every single thing people are saying to you. Feels like it's very hypocritical. I was just glad that somebody supported me. No, that's not quite right. I was just glad that Slavya supported me. Oh, is that what Slavya represents? Yes, someone that loves you regardless. A company, essentially. In a short while, the music played around the camp, calling us for lunch. I put away the broom with a sigh of relief and a sense of accomplishment and went to the canteen. Who is marching forward in a row? It is our pioneer squad. Let's see if I can skip past this. And we're back. Now, here's what happened, because there was a Slavya scene here. We were having a food fight with Uliana in the canteen, and we ran away, and then we actually went to the forest and Slavya found us. We have seen this scene already. I will put a card up in the corner so if you want to see that part again, because I'm not forcing you guys through that a second time, because we have already done that. But now we're at the dance party, the little disco, the little thing, their schoolhouse jig or whatever that we are doing with everyone, and something new happened here. Damn, what am I even doing here? Why would you come to a dance party if you'd rather sit tightly in a corner? Okay, but just a little bit. That's the spirit. I guess she invited me to dance with her. She reached out her hand to me. We were standing in the middle of the dancing crowd. Well, in fact, it was me who was standing. Slavya was warming up, swaying to the beat. I was already blaming myself for agreeing to this uncomfortable proposal. Okay, here I am, on the road again, and now what? I examined the dancing pioneers around me. Nope, I'm not prepared for this. The music stopped abruptly. Some people were still dancing under the momentum, but the majority stopped. Don't panic! Yalida went to the DJ's panel and adjusted something there. Next song, ladies, invite gentlemen. I looked at Slavya. She stretched out her hand to me with a smile. You shouldn't refuse a girl. And we got the dancing scene, which is similar to the one we had with Lena, I guess. We danced for a few minutes. Her chest heaved faster and her face blushed more and more. Slavya stared into my eyes. I tried to look away at the dancing pioneers, or at my feet, or somewhere else. It was a strange feeling. My whole body shuddered from time to time, but it was a pleasant shudder, without any hint of uneasiness or shame. My mind became miraculously calm. I realized that I didn't want to let this girl go, and I'm ready to dance with her forever. Hopping next to us, Uliana stopped for a moment and smirked. Maybe I was seeing things, but I couldn't get rid of the thought that that insolent girl is trying to hint at something. I made a frightening face, but she was already gone. Is something wrong? Slavya asked quietly. Everything's fine. I mean, everything's great. I hadn't started stammering yet, but I was about to. You're so tense. A little, I said honestly. Boys don't like to dance. Guess so. She didn't say anything, just smiled. The song eventually finished. I was still holding Slavya, but she easily slipped out of my grasp. Thank you for the dance. I should thank you. I just stood and stared at her for some time. Next track started playing. One more? No, I think I'll rest a little. I tried to leave the square as soon as possible. I don't remember how I ended up at the beach. Why did I run away? It looked exactly like running away. The dance was nice and Slavya was pleased. But something wasn't right. I felt restless just thinking about the ball. Maybe I just lost my grasp of the situation and got emotional. That happens rarely. I always try to behave and calmly assess the situation. But did I manage it this time? I sat on the sand and looked at the river. The full moon was hanging far above the water. Memories overwhelmed me. I am 6 years old. Me and my father are fishing. I cast my fishing rod clumsily and wait. 1 minute, 2, 10. No fish bite. Meanwhile, my father gets one after another. How do you do that? He explains, but now I don't remember all the details. I am 9 years old. A dark, incomplete building near our country house full of ghosts, vampires, or maybe just hobos. An unstable wooden ladder for the second floor, hanging above the abyss. The hole to the basement. I am scared, but I still climb up and down this ladder every day. A brick falls on my foot and I lose a toenail. La! Nothing! I am 12 years old. My first victory in a video game tournament. We play a console fighting game. An imaginary audience applauds as an astonishing victory. I am 15 years old. I scored several wonderful goals with my heel, and a wonderful shot from 30 meters away right into the upper corner. I am 17 years old. My first love. Transient images. A shadow slipping away and vanishing into the city haze. I can't catch her among the building and corners. The following memories became more clear, but far less vivid. The images of my childhood and youth that I saw were unclear. They lacked details and I couldn't quite see the faces of people. Sometimes they just looked a lot like a canvas, covered with spilled paint. But the feelings of these hazy images were so much warmer than those of my more recent memories. Okay, interesting. There you are. Oh, hell yeah! That's a hardcore image. Slavya leaned over me. I didn't get a fright. Why did you leave so soon? I just felt like being alone for a bit. It was like I hid in a shell. There was no outer world for me, and I responded the same way to all stimuli. I was like the three monkeys. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Isn't it just beautiful here? Slavya looked at the river. Yeah, it is. How about one more dance? No thanks, I'm fine. Deep inside I knew I shouldn't be so sharp with Slavya, but I was like a puppet on a string, forced to say things I would have never said under other circumstances. What are you thinking about? Nothing. You can't think about nothing. She pouted her lips, but smiled right after that, letting me know she wasn't offended. You're always thinking about something, even if you don't notice it. Maybe. So, what are you thinking about now? About owls. I said the first thing that came to my mind. Why owls? She laughed. I don't know. Have you ever seen any owls? Of course I have. What a silly question. Do you like them? They're just a bird like any other. A night bird? Slavya specified. Yes, a night bird. A night bird. I imagine an owl, a little feathered box with huge blinking eyes. Are you a night owl? What? You know, there are daylarks and night owls. Some like to get up early and some like to sleep in. Her words brought me back to reality. I pictured my dusty room full of junk, a mountain of unwashed plates on the table, guitar rotting in the corner, necktie hanging from the lamp, and the pinnacle of all this, the heap of dirty socks under the bed. I was indeed a night owl. Night was my time. But somehow I was managing to get up early in this camp. I know. So what are you? A night owl, I guess. I like to sleep. And I am a daylark. The earlier you get up, the more you can do during the day. There is really nothing urgent for me to do, so I don't see any difference between day and night. It's just quieter and calmer during the night. Slavya, don't you have any problems at all in your life? What do you mean? She wondered. You're always so joyful, so ready to help, so eager to start doing something. It is like nothing can upset you. Why? She laughed. I'm just an ordinary person. That's right. Just an ordinary person in an ordinary place. I sometimes think that I'm the strange one here. Don't you like the camp? I don't mean only the camp. In the previous... I stumbled. I shouldn't speak so frankly even with her. At home too. I think that I'm not like the others. It's not where I belong. Oh, stop that. It's silly to think so. I was considering myself off from the rest of the world just a moment ago, and now I was opening my heart to this girl. What's happening to me? No, really. You wouldn't pay any attention to me under any other circumstances. I am so different from you. I am lazy, unsociable, and have no outstanding talents. I would be the last person you would notice in the crowd of a large city. Though for me, even going outside is rare. Semyon, you scare me. She looked at me seriously. I got embarrassed, but didn't avert my eyes. Am I wrong? Of course. You are you. There is no other person like you. You should just have some self-esteem and patience. And you can do anything. No doubt about it. I looked up at the sky. If only everything could be as simple as you say. It's not difficult at all. Let's start right now. Start what? Changing. Just like that. How do you imagine we can do that? We should do something useful. For instance... Well, she thought for a moment. Let's clean up the square. The ball has already finished. Just the two of us? Would we be able to do all the work? There isn't that much to do. The first step is the most important. I can't argue with her on that point, but taking down the lighting from trees in the dark, moving heavy audio equipment and sweeping. None of that was on my to-do list, but I didn't know how to nicely refuse her. Maybe we can do it tomorrow, with everyone. Why put it off until tomorrow? Wouldn't it be wonderful to stand in a clean square during the lineup? First of all, I don't even like the lineups in general. Hey, I understand you, but this is too much. Slavya thought for a moment. Yes, looks like you're right. Even I can be right sometimes. And she can be wrong. Then, she heard a stretcher and yawned. Let's just sleep on it then. A nice idea, but I wanted to talk more. Isn't it too early? No, Slavya objected critically. You'll sleep all day tomorrow then. Tell my bedtime story then. I blurted out the first thing that came to my mind. I only know the ones I've read in books. You must know them too. Maybe I do. What a failure. Shall we go? She stretched out her hand to me. I'll stay here for a while longer. I need some fresh air. You can go. Good night. Good night. Slavya ran away. It was kind of a beautiful moment, honestly. Wow. I did not... This feels very different from all the other girls. Good thing I took her last. It's not the last run, but she is the last girl. Last. Slavya ran away. I wanted to enjoy my total defeat first. I couldn't stand being with her even a minute longer after that brilliant idea. Bedtime stories? What in the world? That's how the things are. You try to have a casual chat with a girl and it turns into a complete flop. I stared into the night sky. The stars, those small lights in our distant suns, blinked perkily as if laughing at me. I turned over and buried my face in the sand. After a moment I realized that it was another one of my bright ideas. About on par with asking for a bedtime story. I stood up, spitting grit, and went to the leader's cabin. My back itched all the way. Not only my back, my whole body. No wonder, I haven't had a bath for several days. Well, it is really hot here during the daytime, so you sweat like a pig. I should find some soap and a towel. I can find everything in Olga Dmitrievna's cabin. After a couple of minutes, I was again to the square with my bag of bathing accessories. I have to find a bathhouse now. Oh, okay, so we're back here. Interesting. It was easy. The building was just on the edge of the forest. It really is the best place for the bathhouse. I think there was no Blair Witch inside, but the lights were still on. And whose bright idea is that to have a bath at midnight? Well, it's your idea. And I guess Slavia, since this is her path. I muttered below my breath. There is only one problem. Is it a boy or a girl? In the first case we could just have a bath together without any worries. I am not fond of public baths, but I can cope with them this time. In the second case I would have to wait or to scratch myself the whole night through. Who knows how long I'll have to wait. I peeped into the window, but couldn't see anything because of the steam. Suddenly Slavya appeared right before me as if from a thick fog. Why? Okay. No, of course she's gonna be naked, but yeah. She's naked far more often than the other girls. This is the second time. Naturally, she was naked, just like anyone else in the bath would be. Dumbstruck, I stared at her. I had never seen a naked girl so close, even through glass. Never seen a naked girl so close, huh? So, you're a virgin in your mid-30s. My organ reacted as it should. Nerve impulses traveled from my eyes down to my body. It seemed like I couldn't leave my observation point no matter what, even if war broke out. But Slavya didn't notice me. She was washing herself leisurely, rinsing her head, rubbing her body with a sponge and pouring water from the bucket on herself. Then she started to wash her hair. I can't imagine how much time she needs to wash it completely, but minutes flew like seconds. That's how immersed I was in the sight. Finally she finished washing, sighed with satisfaction and walked to the door. Are you gonna run away or not? I managed to come to my senses just the moment she went to the changing room and left to hide in the nearby bushes. The best thing to do was not to tempt fate and leave, but I realized that too late. Slavya appeared on the porch after just a moment, stood there for a while enjoying the night breeze and walked in the direction of my hideout. Oh no! But she is very open, it would seem. I had a dozen excuses in my head, but she went by without even looking at the bushes I was hiding in. Looks like I'm lucky. I cautiously got out and went to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin, completely forgetting my intention to have a bath. I was totally exhausted and wanted to just fall in bed and doze off. My eyes couldn't wait and were closing from time to time. It was dangerous even to blink. I still didn't know the camp well enough to walk there with my eyes closed. Oh, Slavya is still here, huh? I thought we were going to head to bed quite soon. Suddenly Slavya appeared before me. Are you going to sleep? Well, yes. Right this moment I remembered the sight in the bathhouse and averted my eyes shyly. And you? I'm cleaning up. Oh, she's still doing that, huh? I'm just not eager to change that soon, that quickly. She took the broom out from behind her back. Slavya with a broom in the empty square at the night looked like a witch from a children's fairy tale. What? Nothing. Is it really a good idea to clean a square after a bath? And how do you know I had a bath? Yeah. You could have said that it was a bad idea because I said so earlier, you know. I physically felt the fear taking over my body. Cold sweat starting to run down my back. My thoughts froze so I couldn't think of any excuses. Slavya still stared at me in surprise. It looked like my life depends on this answer. Well, your hair is wet. Oh, you're right. I wanted the earth to swallow me up. So I would vanish from this world just as suddenly and irreversibly as I had vanished from mine. Are you going to have a bath too? Me? Well, Slavya looked at the bag in my hands. Yes, I am. So, good night. I turned around and darted back towards the bathhouse. What a disaster. How shameful. I walked slowly, trying to curse myself for all that happened. I shouldn't have peeped in the first place. But if I peep anyway, then I must pay more attention and think of an excuse beforehand. Oh. It didn't take much time to wash myself, so what was that O for? Okay. It looked like the night made its own ball, or possibly a concert. The stars were the lights, the birds and insects were an orchestra, and owl hooting somewhere was its director. The sound of wind in the trees was the applause of the audience. The night looked much more beautiful when you stand in the forest clean and fresh. Suddenly I heard a noise in the bushes nearby. I shivered but didn't get very scared. Is this Alyssa? Is she peeking on me again? It may be a squirrel or another animal. Nevertheless, I should check it out. I went to the bushes, but didn't find anything or anyone suspicious. Oh. It just seemed... with a clean body and a calm spirit, I went to the leader's cabin. Oh, is that what happened? Having thoughts, having ideas. Olga Dmitrievna was already asleep. I went to the bed without taking my clothes off and covered myself with a blanket. I couldn't fall asleep for a long time. Remembered naked Slavya, whose image could not be eclipsed by thoughts about finding answers. I thought that sentence was going to continue, but it did not. It is instead day 4. Ooh, we managed to go through the 3 days in this episode, huh? Good to know. Well, that will be it for today's episode. And in the next one, we're going to be looking for Shurik. I assume that's where we're headed for next. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and thank you Joseph for donating directly to my Ko-fi page. If you guys want to help me out, you can do so by clicking the link down in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Goodbye everyone.